And my wife, you know, I was like, I say, we need to have our housewives of drag racing. Such a
Antron Brown, 3-time NHRA Top Fuel champion, joining us here in the Freak Nation. May not talk a whole lot of racing. We will talk a lot about how you can get to know Antron Brown coming up February 1st, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on MAV TV. It's called The Life, where they go inside the life of Antron Brown. And frankly, Antron, after watching some of this doc or insight to your life, there's a lot about you that I didn't know that I thought I know. Was it odd for you to be so exposed in this documentary?
Okay, it wasn't odd to be exposed. Like, we're exposed every day of our life at the racetrack. It was just cool for them to bring out a side that people don't get to see. You know what I mean? Basically, from a kid, my whole childhood with my uncle, my dad, my grandpa, and our whole family, background history and racing, to see to where we're at now and how I developed to become who I am. It's a 30-minute segment, man. It was so much to cram into 30 minutes. It's one of those deals where I could see off that show, I'm like, man, this is going to end up turning into one of those series that people are going to see. They want to see everything. And it really shocked me the way it came out. I mean, I was very, very pleased on the job they did. And it was very heartwarming, touching, and is in depth where it left me wanting to know more about myself.
Oh, really? Well, how much of the two-wheel action, whether it's motocross or drag racing, do we get in these 30 minutes? And then how much of outside of the Top Fuel cockpit do we get?
You got a little bit of everything. That's the whole part, is that you got to remember, I have literally my life in racing has been over 26 years. Like, it's been more than that, but it's at 26 years just in my professional career. So we went back from where it started, from the motocross days where they showed a couple clips, footages and stuff like that. They didn't show none of the video clips, wish they did, but it was cool to see those old school pictures back in the day, and then going to the drag racing deal and then jump right from drag racing into Top Fuel. So seeing all that on how it just all came together, you're like, wow, like, this is a road this cat went down. Yeah, like, he didn't stop here, he didn't stop there, he kept one foot over the other, and he made it to the top of one mountain, and he already started up the base of another one, just kept climbing. And that's what I'm doing. Is like, I don't know how many mountains I done climbed on top of, man, but this has got to be like the 100th one, and I'm still going and clicking them down.
You got 100 more to go. It's all good. It's all good. Now, we're talking about The Life on MAV TV with Antron Brown. That's February 1st, 8 p.m. Eastern, when you can see what we are talking about right now. Was there ever a time, Antron, that you said, guys, you can't come follow me here?
The crazy part is I went through some time for 30-minute clips. I filmed with these guys and girls for it was days. It wasn't like, oh, we had 3 sessions. No, it was like days and days and days to get 30 minutes of content. They got some stuff that they could really do some stuff with. And I was like, oh, there they go. Hey, Antron, you got a minute? Oh yeah, here you go. So every long stop of the way while I'm running for a championship this year, they were every league bound, like things where they caught you at the highs of highs and the lows of lows. And but that's the way life is. That's the way everybody's life is. And I think that's what's going to make this show so special, for people to resonate, and it'll give them a little idea. It's like, hey, he's just like me. I do the same things, but he does this different. Or he might be, I do it just like that. You know what I mean? So I think that's what's going to be the cool part about this show, where I was vulnerable at a lot of different deals, and a lot of people that's on the show, you're going to see their vulnerabilities, where their emotions are high, where they're heartfelt, they're scared, they're excited. You're going to see anything that you could think in real life drama, you're going to see it, and it's not man-made. It's not like fictional created. This is like real life. And when I saw it, I was like, man, wow, whoa. Some of the stuff scared me, and it's the stuff that I lived through. You know what I mean? So I was like, man, I did come back from it. I remember that. Oh, like when you see all the stuff and you see the way my family responds to it and the people around me and the way you touch people, you know what I mean? And our like my old partner in crime, like Angel was in there, and you see how she gets emotional about it too. And you see Ted in there, like our guy here at the race shop. You see Brad, my team manager. I never knew Brad. I said, Brad, man, you're actually good for TV, man. You look cool, calm, man. And my wife, you know, I was like, I say, we need to have a housewives of drag racing. Such a no, we don't. No, we don't.
We're baby.
Oh, baby. Oh, baby.
Wow. Were you surprised at hearing yourself reveal things about yourself that you'd never done before? Once it's out there on the table, it's out there on the table and you have to live with it.
Stat man, let me tell you something, man, is my life always has been an open book. And sometimes, you know, I've been part of this freak nation for a lot of years, and I have let stuff slip on your show that I should not have let slipped. You know, Kenny does a good job of that. And, yes, he does. I'm like, "Ah, dog, Kenny, you got me again. You got me again. You
Mhm.
got me." But the thing about it is that I think it's refreshing where I'm able to just do me and be myself in this deal. Like, I'm not putting on a show. Like, that's one thing you guys know about me. I'm like this every day. This ain't me putting on a show, cracking jokes. You saw at the PRI show, we see each other at the SEMA show, wherever shows we're at, there's AB. AB doesn't change. So I'm an open book, and I just like to have fun with everything I do. And this right here was just a deal where the can was open, but now I got to pour it all out
Mm.
so people could see every side of me, the business side of me. Everybody knew the racer side of me and the professional on TV, but they get to see me in my everyday life. Like what I do, they caught me behind the scenes on talking to people, and they didn't even know they were filming and it was on the TV. I'm like, oh Lord, they were there. I'm like, yeah, they were. So I was just doing what I do, stat man, and there's no rewinding. But the thing about it is that I'm real. Just like everybody else. Some of the things you're gonna hear might be some things that I shouldn't have said, but I'm human. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we all make mistakes, but we all pick up from there and be better.
Let's go a little deeper on that idea. You've become a businessman, and I saw that for the first time. Even though you had a team all last year, I saw it for the first time at PRI, where you were thinking about business as much as you were about Antron Brown, the top fuel champion. What are you learning about yourself in becoming a businessman and switching that hat back and forth that maybe surprised you that you didn't know you had it in you?
Well, I think for one thing for me was I was always driven around the people that surround me. So always knew to put good people or great people around you that will challenge you and push you, and it's only going to make you better and make you rise. And you put that same challenge back to them. And for me, what I've learned from business that's really it took me a little bit to grow on is that you have to make business decisions not emotionally. You have to make it business wise. And when I first started this race team and we started, like, give you this deal this last year, like we had to do our own hospitality. We used to rent our hospitality from Lucas, and then they got out of that side of the business and we had to buy it. And I had to hire people and from scratch. You know what I mean? And them people didn't work out. And I'm always the one that will never let nobody fail and give them all the tools and everything they need and actually put them on my back and carry them. But I've learned when we have diversified ourselves in something different like that, that I can't carry everybody on my back. Like I need some people to carry their weight. You know what I mean? I can't do everybody's job. And I learned that really fast where I'm like, if we're going to be successful, I got to bring people that are like minded like me, where they come in where they don't need to be micromanaged and they're going to have the willingness to get uncomfortable like I did to be a business owner. But I want them to have the same mindset that ABM is their team too. It's not my team, it's our team. And for them to think like they're owner of this business. You get what I mean? And to be passionate. to find people that are passionate in what they do, just like I am. And once I started putting those criterias in front of me and going, this is what I need, and being patient and getting the right people, that's when our whole organization took to a step to a whole nother level, even down to our crew members on our race team. And I think this year going 2024, we even have a couple other changes where we got some younger people in and some more experienced people. So now we're not just getting new recruits, we're hiring the best recruits that I'm thinking for the job now and getting people with the right attitude. And I'm seeing us now where I think this is probably one of the best teams that I've ever been on, where this team I can see is championship bound and
Who
not just for the
modeled
short
that
term,
for
for the long.
you? Who modeled that for you as you were coming up as a pro stock motorcycle and in Top Fuel? Who modeled that for you so that you can say, this is how I want to do and not do that?
Well, for me, I learned from observing a lot of people, Bill. I could be honest with you, like I learned a lot of stuff when I was with Troy Vincent, my pro stock bike days. He taught me how to observe and not just be an athlete, but to also learn the business side of it. That's why I came to where I'm at now. So as long as doing all this, I always ran everything I did. Like when we did the pro stock motorcycle, ran the team, had a partner. We did it together, me and Mark Pizer. Then after that, left there, came to Top Fuel Racing. I wasn't just a driver. I started helping out in the office. Then I start ordering parts and pieces, knew the car, did all that stuff. The same thing. Came to that Don Schumacher Racing, became a part of it, and then team up with Karate, Oswald, and then working with Brad all those years. Me and Brad worked from day one, basically ordering all the parts and pieces, how it works, helping them out in the car, and learning every facet of the business. And then what I did was I saw where some teams were good and where teams were bad at. And I said, well, why are they bad? Why are they bad in this deal? Because some teams put more value in the parts and pieces and things they own than the people that ran it. And I saw that they were like, okay, successful. Then I saw teams that didn't have the best parts, but they spent all their money in their people and personnel. And those teams were the one that prospered more because you could take a group of great people and they can make chicken into chicken stew. You get what I mean? And I saw that, and I pardon my language, but I saw that, and I was like, "Wow, it's about the people." So what I did was when I wanted to build AB Motorsports, I wanted to make the people the forefront of it, and then everything else will fall into place. And if I get the right people and we're all pulling a rope the same way in the same direction, brother, we could not just pull a tree down, we could pull a forest down. And that's what we accomplished. We came out the first year and we started from the back of the pack, getting a new combination together. We ended up second in the points. We stayed in the top 5 all the whole year, and then we got in the countdown, and we wanted to be aggressive, and it got us a little bit, but we were qualifying in the top 5 at all the countdown races, 3rd, 1st, 2nd, somewhere around there, and 4th, 5th. And then we were setting low ET of first round. And then second round, we were spinning the tires, or we had something that plagued us where we lost like second round every countdown race, where if we didn't have a couple issues go wrong, we could have been winning another championship. So this year, in hindsight, we addressed those issues where we're going to come, and that's what we're going to strive for 2024. And I believe I got all the right chess pieces in places for that.
Antron Brown, 3-time NHRA champion, shooting for his 4th for the 2024 season. A couple of other things I'd like to hit. You mentioned Don Schumacher. Since we last spoke at PRI, he had since passed. What are your fondest memories of Don Schumacher, running those many years with him? One of your fondest memories, and what he and his conglomerate, actually, the decades that he spent. When I found out that he loaned Shirley Muldowney a funny car body back in the 70s, it's like, holy smoke, so many things opened up for me with that Q&A. But what's something that we didn't know about Don Schumacher that Antron found out in your time with Don Schumacher Racing?
I found out the type of worker Don Schumacher was. A lot of people see him walk around the racetrack, not a man of many words. You know what I mean? He'll talk to you if he knows you and stuff like that. But the man was a workaholic. The man, like, he competed at business. You know what I mean? And a lot of people misconstrued that, and he never took business personally, trust me. He took business as business. Say, look, man, I'm gonna get the best deal I can get, and I'm gonna work it, and I'm gonna show you how it's done. And if he respects you, and I was one of the few people that was around Don Schumacher that drove for him that I never had a problem with him. He never came to me and told me, Antron, you need to step your game up. You need to work on your tree. You need to work on your driving. You need to be a true professional. He says that to a lot of people because he saw the people that weren't working. And for me, I worked on my craft every day. Like when I go to a race, I didn't show up the race and go, hey man, I wish I would have did this a little bit more. No, when I lose, I go, okay, well, I got to work on next. I got to do this better. And he saw that in me. And then I always challenged him on the business side, saying he knew it for a long time. I told him my dreams and aspirations a long time ago. Say, Don, I want to own my own team one day. Told him that years ago. And then 3 years before I owned the team, AB Motorsports, that we started in 2022, I told him that. And he tried to talk me out of it and everything else, and even pushed me to the edge of going, you ain't going to be able to do it, Antron. You know how much money it takes? What happens when you shortfall? You don't have excess of cash. I said, Don, neither did John Force. Neither did Kenny Bernstein. Neither did Don the Snake Perdome or David Schultz. I mean, people have to start from somewhere. And when you go through the struggle, that's what makes you right. And he literally told me I wouldn't be able to do it.
Wow.
And then when I did do it,
wow, wait. That your friendship with him almost surpassed business. And he told you that face to face, said, I don't think you could do
yes. He told me, I don't think you could do it. And you just need to be here with me and stuff like that. But that's what Don does. Don does that to see what you have inside of you. Because after I did it, he told me, I always knew you're going to be a great owner. And I looked at him and said, why would you tell me that stuff? Like, you demoralized me and made me feel like I wasn't going to do it, and I couldn't do it, and told me over the last 3 years while me working all these deals and stuff like that, because Antron, I just want to see what you were made of. He goes, if you couldn't handle me telling you that and telling that you couldn't do it and you still didn't do it, that means you weren't going to do it, that you couldn't do it.
Wow.
You follow what I'm saying? And then when I did it, he was my biggest cheerleader. That's what people don't understand. He goes, if you couldn't handle me telling you that you couldn't do it, well, how are you going to handle it when the first bill comes in and the check ain't come in and you got to postpone for 3 weeks to pay the bill or be delinquent on paying the bill? How are you going to handle that? You get what I mean? And he always knew what I was made of, and he just pushed me. He knew what I was going to do already. He goes, I already knew what you were going to do. I knew you were going to do it. And the thing about it is I was always straight up and honest with him, and he was straight up to me. And a thing that people don't know about Don Schumacher is underneath that exterior, the man never raised his voice, never would yell, never got irate. He could talk to you, and you could be high as a mother roo at him, and he'll just talk to you. Well, sorry you feel that way. like, like that's how Don was, man. He was cold, man. He was like in a good way. In a good way. He was a gangster businessman. He was a gangster. So the cool part was he was just cool, calm, collective all the time. And I remember distinctly people feared him and was intimidated by Don just by his presence, because the way he was, because you didn't know which way he was coming or going. You didn't know what he was thinking, because if you played him in poker, you wouldn't know what kind of hand he ever had. And he just gave you the look, talked to you like, oh, okay, I see. And you see the other guys start going like this. Oh Lord, what's about to happen? You know what I mean? Like, and I just smiled at him all the time. Like, it didn't intimidate me at all. And then once I really got to know him, he was a caring man. If you had somebody ill in your family, he'll put you on his personal jet and go pick that family member up and fly him to the best hospital he knew in the country. He's that type of person. And then I know Don, when I went fishing with him, deep sea fishing with him, that his love for fishing, because he was peaceful out there and he loved the competition of catching fish. And that man will wake up. That tells you his work ethic. Wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning, go hit the water, and you weren't coming back till 5, 6 o'clock in the evening, brother, all day, and baiting fish out there, boat rocking back and forth. Got nothing but the best food. Got all kind of food, man, on the boat. I mean, it was incredible. I was digging it. Like, I was up. He's like, look at Antron. He looked at me and goes, you come fish with me anytime. I said, Don, ain't no problem. I'm back there rigging bait, putting big fish on there, catching bait fish on to catch big fish, and wheeling them in, doing everything, or wheeling it. And he looked at me. He was very impressed. He didn't know I could fish like that. And I told Don, I said, if it's anything's got to do with competition, I am all in. And he looked at me, took a cigar out of his mouth. He goes, I see. The old gangster vibe coming out. I see.
Don.
But
Daddy
that's
Don.
why they call him the Don, man. The Don. I mean, if you didn't know, he didn't let a lot of people in close. You get what I mean? He's very selective on that. And I had the pleasure of being one of them. And he told me he loved me, man, numerous times. I said, well, I love you too, Daddy-O. And we had a very unique relationship. And I wouldn't be where I'm at today without going through the stuff that I went through him. He's taught me a lot along this road, for sure.
Antron Brown.
Tell me a fish story that just the fish story about the big one that got away, the big one you put on the boat. Tell me a fish story.
Oh, we didn't get away, brother. We got some fish. Like we were in, when I'm talking about deep sea fishing, brother, I didn't go to Florida to go fishing. This joker put me on his plane and we flew to the Panama Canal. And then we took a jumper from Panama City to this little island that we went fishing at. And it was called the Tropic Star Lodge is where we went. And when we flew in this little island on this plane. It didn't even have an airline landing strip. It was a strip that was built by concrete deals that they drop off, and they made this strip that you could land this little prop plane on. And you got off, brother. It looked like a scene from King Kong and Godzilla. You even saw the local islander people in there with their little straw bamboo style hats, and you can hear the drums going in the background and everything like that, and all the trees around. I mean, it looked like I went to some prehistoric land. And when we went out there fishing, them fish weren't no baby fish. I caught a tuna. I caught a bait fish wheeling it in on a small test line, and a big yellowfin tuna grabbed it, and I pulled it into the boat. Once I got to the heavy test, I pulled it into the boat, and man, that thing took me 45 minutes to get in, and that fish was like every bit of 80 pounds of a yellowfin tuna. I'm talking about big fish, but like you pick it up, that darn fish was almost as tall as me with the fins and everything. I mean, I had the back fin holding it up. I'm like, this is a fish. You get what I mean? That's some prehistoric fish. This ain't no New Jersey sunnies I'm catching. This is prehistoric. I could feed a village with this one fish.
It wasn't a McDonald's fillet of fish. It was the real fish.
No. This fish, if you was in the water, you wouldn't be trying to catch it. You'd be swimming away from
it. Yeah.
Well, who's going to be swimming away from you at the pro race in Bradenton? Oh my gosh, are the drivers excited about what you guys have put together? Money is on the line. Big money, baby. Who's going to be swimming after you?
I tell you what, they better get on because we coming. We're going to swing for the fences, and we're going to be there testing for 3 days prior to the event. So hopefully the weather holds out where we could put a good event on, and we're excited about it. I'm very, very excited about it. And man, the tension's all high.
One thing I love is Greg Anderson had an amazing quote. I don't have it in front of me right now, but he said something like how much he's looking forward to this Bradenton money race, how it's going to break up the monotony of what you guys are used to, and how it's just something that's fresh. And like whether it's concerts that are going to be there or the chip system that you're going to use for who goes against who at every round, he's so excited about it because how it's just something different and maybe something can translate into NHRA speak down the road in the future.
Well, absolutely. And this is a race just to bring some more excitement, because Gainesville is going to be a couple weeks after that, like 3 weeks after that. And we're just trying to draw more people in, and also to put some more stuff out there that people have never seen before. Like in the nitro categories, if you don't make the top 8 to race for the big money race, you're going to still race for some money, because we're going to have a funny car top fuel shootout race where funny cars race against top fuel cars. So when you're looking at that there, that's going to be a whole different narrative. and then you're going to see everybody running at their best, having a good time. And actually, the cool part is that our sport is on demand. Like literally, like people want to see us all over the place, and then we never get to go to South Florida. So we get to go to Gainesville, but it's 5 hours from Miami. We're going to be in Bradenton, Florida, where we're only a tick away. So we could draw some of those Southern Florida natives up there to come see what we do and to expose them to what we do and bring some excitement down there. And it's just going to be a win for everybody. And Pros.car's excited. We have the invitational sportsman cars coming. So basically, it's an invitational. It's going to be the baddest drag racers on the planet are showing up. And we're going to see who's going to show out.
Hey, one last thing that this reminded me of. We had Malcolm Stewart on the show recently, young brother of James Stewart. James Stewart, who broke a lot of barriers, and for a lot of these younger riders, is the greatest supercross, motocross rider of all time. You as a dude that started out motocross on the dirt, watching James Stewart and now Malcolm Stewart succeed, and again, a highly dominated white young man sport on a bike, watching these two black riders succeed at what they're doing. How does Antron Brown see these riders?
Man, I just look at him and it amazed me because I watched James when he was on 60s at Loretta Lynn's and 80 cc and then went to 125s. And he dominated it, man. He dominated it. Like, he literally went from 80s to 125, raced 125 for like 1 year at the amateur ranks and went straight to the pros and came out in the pros and like destroyed them. Like, that man unlapped, like he literally almost like one race he fell down from dead last in a pro as a rookie and came all the way back to first and passed them pro guys like they were standing still. Like, who does that? You know what I mean? And Malcolm, I knew Malcolm when he was young, man. Malcolm, he came into racing later on in his life, man. Malcolm always loved fishing, man. He loved fishing in RC cars. Like, I remember Malcolm. And then he got into it at his early teens where he really wanted to start racing and riding motorcycles more and more, and then got after it and started getting crazy with it. And very, very naturally talented and gifted athlete. Just has a couple things that hurt him and like injuries that slowed him down, where he was almost getting to the top of the helm in the big boy class, where I thought, oh, this is going to be his breakout year, and he got hurt. And I'm a huge fan of Supercross and motocross. I watched all those guys out there, and the sport, man, I'm telling you what, the sport is healthy out there, and they're really taking off. They got a lot of talent in the premier class. Before, it used to be a handful. Now they got like 12 people that can win on any weekend. So Malcolm, I'm super proud of him where he's at, and I'm looking to see him really do some great things this year. Like, come back, just get better and better and better, and get comfortable, and then see how he could do towards the end of the season. See him get back to where he was.
Freak Nation, coming up Thursday, February 1st, 8 o'clock on MAV TV. You don't want to miss this one. The Life of Antron Brown, again on MAV TV. Antron, 2024 season is here. Good luck coming up in February in that big old show down there in Bradenton. It's going to be badass, my friend. It's always fantastic when we can spend a few minutes with you, buddy.
Well, I appreciate you, Kenny. It's always a pleasure being on the SpeedFreaks with the Freaks Nation. And hey, man, to stay tuned. It's going to be a lot of stuff coming out, and I'm just excited with this In the Life show coming out on MAV TV. You don't want to miss it, and we want to see everybody at the Freak Nation at some NHRA Mission Food drag races this year.
You take car maintenance seriously, and you want to pass on that legacy of care. Use Lucas Heavy Duty Oil Stabilizer to shield your engine from excessive heat, debris, and friction. Trust Lucas Oil. It works. Whatever you do, General Tire delivers.
The NASCAR Cup Series returns to Worldwide Technology Raceway on June 1st and 2nd, 2024. The time to get your tickets is now.
Let's go! Yeah!
For only $10 down, you can lock in your seats for an incredible weekend of family fun featuring the Enjoy Illinois 300 and the Confluence Music Festival. It all adds up to one amazing party. Go to WWTRaceway.com for the hottest ticket of the year.